And here we go. Greetings, everyone. It's Brian Watson, and I'm kind of the outreach guy and communications for Southern Eye Institute. And today, our guest is a surgeon just came off mission tour, and I believe Santi is correct. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so you've heard enough of me already. So Santi is going to kind of unpack how he went on mission, kind of his story of how he got connected to the mission and any close moments that he had. I've got a little show and tell to go after Santi unpacking his mission. And then he'll kind of I'm going to share some pictures he can comment on or say, I don't want to comment, and we'll go from there. So without further ado, Santi, I state your name and tell us a little bit about your story and your mission.
Great. Yeah. Morning, everyone. My name is Santi Karnam. I actually got involved with Southern Eye Institute, the Southern Eye Clinic in Sarabu, through a program that I'm in. So currently, I had just finished my residency in ophthalmology, and I was thinking about what I should do next. One thing that really sort of spoke to me was, the reason why I did medicine in the first place. I really wanted a chance to help those that are less fortunate. And one of the things I dreamed about in medical school was being able to go abroad to do that. And so there were a couple of ways I could have gone about it. But in the end, I thought, I wanted to have a year where I can just focus on doing work like this and just really understand, what it means to practice medicine abroad. Um, and so I joined a program at the Wills Eye Institute in Philadelphia in global ophthalmology, where I got a chance to go do this kind of thing for a year. I did a few trips to other countries, and one of the centerpieces of this fellowship actually is the trip with Kathy and Tom to Sarabu. For us, it's like probably one of the best surgical experiences that we get in a year. But as soon as you land in Sarabu, or as soon as you get off the car from the airplane, from the airport in Sarabu, you realize it's a lot more than just about the eye clinic and about eye surgery. What Tom and Kathy and Brian and everyone else that have worked there have done is just truly amazing. They created a space where it's almost like you know, um, like the centerpiece of the village, basically. And it's not just for Sarabu itself, but for the surrounding villages and when it comes to surgery, for even the surrounding countries. Um, so the things that I got to see, when it comes to the education program, the sports programs, the ability for them to offer employment and housing and scholarships to all these individuals from this village, it really just spoke to me. Um, but what I can really talk about is my surgical experience there. I'd never seen something like that where, people from, 5 or 6 different countries come to this one small village in the middle of Sierra Leone, and they spend, they come there with their families, and the people in the village had to accept them with open arms and give them a place to live, and stay for weeks at a time sometimes, because sometimes these surgeries can be complicated and need really good follow-up. Um, and so, on top of what the patients had to go through, in terms of what the staff had to go through, yeah, so that's a great picture with, just to give an idea of like how many people we did surgery on. But also, you can see some people without patches, either they're waiting for surgery or they're the family members of those who had surgery. And so, there's only three of us surgeons there. And so, in order to take care of all these people, we needed a staff that is about like 10 times as many surgeons as there are. And that staff was just amazing and brilliant, for them to be able to navigate, all of these patients, to organize everything, for us to not only be able to do, 30 to 40 surgeries a day, but also to see these patients in the clinic the following couple days to weeks. Yeah, to me, I just did, hang out in the OR in the clinic, but I still didn't really have a great idea of how they were able to organize all of that. And it's just impressive to see. Um, that's sort of the OR. That was the other thing that was really amazing to me too, is how nice the OR facilities were. it's in a place where there isn't any like solid internet, or sorry, solid power, solid. They just recently got like running water in most of that village, but yet, they had really high-end equipment, really clean tools and instrumentation. So it was great to see, and it made our lives a lot easier when we got there too.
Mhm.
I think the next picture was it's like the waiting room outside. Yeah.
Yeah, let me
Um,
see. Hold on, I'm sorry. Let me try to bring up a couple really great picks, Santi. So far, so great. Thank you. We are living vicariously through here. Let me see if I can bring up the next one. And yeah, just really giving surgeons just a full like virtual tour of what you experienced. And I think I did show that one there. That is, go ahead.
yeah. Yeah. So this is, as soon as you walk into the clinic in the morning, that's sort of where the patients are waiting to be seen. And you can see there's a full complement of patients there, from young adults with like traumatic cataracts to older individuals with just dense cataracts that are white or brunescent, and you even see some children with pediatric cataracts there. So me and John, we mostly spend our time doing SICS on just the adult cataracts, but Dr. Kathy would also do pediatrics as well. And I really got to see some of those children, maybe 5 years post-op from their surgery, and they'll still come around with their parents just for camaraderie and just to help out, just because of how thankful they were for having gotten to have that surgery done when they were children and not develop amblyopia. And this is a picture with our staff. First up is on the left is Dr. Fakadi. And she came in for the last week of the mission trip, and she was just wonderful. She had loads of experience and from previous mission trips, and all these little tips and tricks that we picked up from her. Next is Mohammed, who was my technician, my surgical technician there for the whole time I was there almost. He's also a cataract technician, so he does cataract surgery. And I learned a lot from his technique as well as Dr. Kathy next to him. And then Mohamedou next to Dr. Kathy. He was our A scan specialist, did all of our scans, all of our IOL calcs and everything are just done from him. And then that's me in the center, along with Dr. John Anhalt, who's kind of my, I guess, sort of my boss, but also like the my program director for the Global Fellowship. This might have been his second time coming to Sierra Leone, so it was nice to get a chance to go with him. And then next to us is Thomas, who is a high school student getting ready to go to nursing school in the future. He wanted a chance to do a mission and see what it was like, really being, out of his comfort zone in a small village. And it was his first time outside the country, so I'm sure he had a great experience and he learned so much. But we took that photo after maybe after our third week there, 3.5 weeks. And so, or sorry, during our third week there, one of our last OR days. But you can see we were definitely we probably should have taken it in the beginning of the day, because you can tell we look pretty sweaty there. But overall, I think it was good. We have like 2 air conditioners in the ORs too, so OR kind of ends up being the best place to be in the hospital. It's
Yeah,
quiet. There's 2 air conditioners. It's a lot more, at our pace. Whereas the clinic can get really busy sometimes.
sure. Looks like here's one of you hanging out maybe on a sports day.
Yeah, that's right. So on the times that we're not doing surgery or clinic, usually the weekends are free. And so on the weekends, we go to church on Sunday. On Saturdays, usually they have some sort of activities for the whole village or the neighboring villages. They had a sports day, a cultural festival. What else?
Let's see. There's you. Looks like catching some mass.
That's right. That's us at Mass. And let's see. And so we usually do every Sunday, but you can also go every day in the morning. I think it was at like 5:30 or 6 a.m. Mass that they would do as well. But the Sunday masses are just just so beautiful. Even if you're not a Christian or a Catholic, just because the choir is there. The choir is just like so unique and special. They have instruments that I've never seen before. The music
See,
is just catchy. It's just really fun to be there.
let's see if I can cue a second of that up. Let's see if that. Hold on here. Let's see if I can share that real quick. Let's see. Is this is playing? There we go.
Oh yeah. So this was the day that the choir came over to our house, basically, that we were staying, because they wanted to do like a special presentation for us, and really for Dr. Anna and Tom, or Kathy and Tom. But yeah, it was really cool to see them all, the full choir too, all in their living room with some dancing involved too. It was great. So you can just see that the whole village just really appreciates these guys and what they've done. Really have changed the lives of the entire community there.
Yeah, I gonna see if I got a couple more. I thank you. And you're headed out again today somewhere, are you?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. So I'll be going to Rwanda to work at a residency program there today. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we're
Okay.
so lucky to grab you before you take off. And I see some pictures of some pretty young patients here. Let me see if I can bring that up. And before we do that, why don't you tell us? Let's see. I think how was the food?
Oh yeah. So, day to day kind of things. Food is amazing. I became really close with so we actually they had a cook for us. Her name is Bentu. And I forget how she was related to the Archbishop of Sierra Leone, the former Archbishop of Sierra Leone. So it's through his family. But anyways, Bintu cooks amazing food. She cooks, fresh meals Monday, Wednesday, or sorry, morning, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner, every single day. And it's cooked by the same person with like clean water. Use the bottled water for everything.
Nice.
Basically, you would have chicken, goat, fish, basically whatever you want, Benji can make for you. This is the food that they would provide for the patients and their families and staff as well. And so, not only do we have our own cook for the volunteers that come from abroad, but for the volunteers from the village and from the surrounding community, they have a whole team of cooks, that just make food basically all day and also provide 3 square meals for these patients and everyone else that's involved as well.
Yeah, I don't know if you know the backstory, but our church here in Memphis, Feed My Flock, they get
Oh yeah,
together.
that's
Yeah,
right.
did they tell you the story on that? So they
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of meals that they put together, and everyone gets to be recipient of. So yeah, so thank you, St. Louis Church and Feed My Flock, for that. And let's see, in here, this one caught my eye. Quite
Yeah,
some young patients, huh?
that's right. Yeah, yeah. There was even, I think we even had a few babies come in this past trip. Just you know, can't speak anything, even hard to do an exam. She was probably one of the cutest kids that ever came through. Oh my gosh, yeah, I think we did surgery for both her eyes. And every time she never cried once. I don't
Mm.
remember seeing her cry. She was just so happy and she was just a joy. Even all the patients around, were just, smiling when they got the chance to see her.
I think here's you in action again. Yep, I think so. Yes.
There's me operating under the microscope. Usually we were wearing gowns. I think we had just run out at that point. And there's Mohammed as well, who's my surgical tech slash surgeon and health extraordinaire. It was great, but after about 2 days, I didn't even have to say a word to Mohammed. He knew exactly.
Wow.
It was great
There's
for
there's a couple more cuties, and I know you've got a trip to pack for, but really, what would you any comments on these? Did you get to see these two?
I didn't get to see them, but now you can see the kids are getting younger and younger, and there's even younger kids that Dr. Kathy.
Wow. So I guess the last thing on in top of my mind is what would you say to any new surgeon to seasoned surgeon about considering doing a mission trip to Sarabu?
Oh, I highly recommend it. After I came back, I went up to, some of the other fellows at Wills and I told them, look, if you ever want to just go even for a week or so, I think it's so, so worth it. Whether it is, just because you want to, help out people in other country or those less fortunate, whether you want to become a better surgeon yourself, even for purely selfish reasons, I think it's worth it. You'll become a better surgeon. You won't have anything lacking while you're there. It was sort of a cushy mission, I think, for in terms of you get your own room, you have running water, you have a nice bed, no bugs or anything like that that we had to deal with at all. 3 square meals a day. You have AC. Like, what more could you really want? And you have great OR facilities and great staff to work with. So you'll really get in there, get a lot of surgeries, and you'll come out feeling like you've helped a lot of people and feeling like, wow, there's so much more you could do, after seeing all the other kinds of things that, Tom and Kathy have done. So it was just really humbling, really rewarding experience.
I guess the last question for me is, I mean, I get in a first world country how we make a difference, but truly being able to give the gift of sight to someone, especially that has been without it. I don't know if you know how long one of your patients had gone without sight before you or not, but kind of speaking into that gift, and then if you ever want to know more, we'll get your contact information. Just reach out to Tom, and I'm sure Santi would be glad to talk to any surgeon or anyone contemplating at any time. But bring us home with the gift of sight you've given, and thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much. Yeah. So do you want me to do a quick comment about it, or
Yeah, just
oh
yeah,
yeah, so
absolutely.
the last piece of information I saw about that was on your guys' flyer. And it said something like the median age, like the median time that that these patients have been blind for before they got the surgery was about 20 years. And so some of these patients, 20 years of their life, they've had bilateral cataracts and haven't been able to do anything. And so, even if we were able to just do one eye for them at this visit, that's life changing for them. That's one less person they need, to take care of them. That's like, now they can actually do things on their own. But I thought that piece of information, that fact, was just so powerful, just to know that, wow, like, these patients haven't been able to do anything for 20 years of their lives, and now they're getting their life back. Anyway, so I just thought that was amazing to hear.
Thank you so much for your time today. We're praying for a safe next trip for you. We hopefully will see you back in Sarabu and sometime in the future. You are now an official ambassador of the Gifts of Sarabu, and reach out to us if you have any more questions. Thanks again for your time, and safe travels.
Definitely. Thanks so much, Ryan.
All right. And we're